All right, let's go.
Hello, welcome to Claiborne Farm. We hope you've enjoyed the past few weeks of our virtual tours, and today we're going to do a question and answer with myself. My name is Bradley Purcell. I'm the farm manager here at Claiborne Farm. We're also going to keep kind of with a Derby theme this week, with supposed to have been Derby week. We're a little sad about that. Usually this is a very exciting week for us, as everyone's kind of anticipating the run for the Roses in May. So we're going to visit kind of with Secretariat's grave, Swell's grave, and later on we'll visit with Orb, some of our hometown, homegrown Kentucky Derby winners. So my name is Bradley Purcell. I'm the farm manager here. I was born and raised here on Claiborne Farm. It's a term we use in the thoroughbred industry called a homebred, so I'm a true homebred. My father worked here for 40 years. He started as a yearling groom and progressed to an assistant broodmare manager, and was a broodmare manager when he retired. My brother works here as well. He is now the broodmare manager, and I grew up here, you know, a small kid, going, you know, putting up hay in the summer, weed eating, painting, whatever it needed to be done as a young kid. But you know, as I got older, got put around the horses and go to some feeding sales, work with Dad, show some old mares, rake up the walk reins, keep the shed rows clean, just anything that a young kid could do. But you know, went away to college, wanted to be an accountant, got into that, and then realized, you know what, I'm a farm boy, and I don't know if I want to sit in an office all day long. So, you know, now I've got to come back in 1996, started full-time working in a foaling barn. So now I've progressed from worked in the foaling barn. I worked for 6 years with our vets at that time, Dr. Jim Palazzo and Dr. Harris, and then was promoted to an assistant broodmare manager, and then a broodmare manager, assistant farm manager, and this is my 10th season as a farm manager. So kind of the progression from being born and raised here to now the farm manager, it's a dream job. You know, when I would go around with Dad as a kid, you know, the farm manager at that time was John Sosby, and John was an idol of mine. I would come, Dad would bring us in, he'd pick us up from the school bus, and we'd stop in the office here and see Big John. That's what we knew him as. He was to me, he was a larger than life character. He was just an awesome man, and you know, we'd stop in, and I'd be 10 or 11 years old and see John and see him at that office, and I'd be sitting behind that chair where he used to sit and run the same farm that he runs. It's been a dream come true, and I'm thankful for the Hancocks for giving me the opportunity to be the manager of the farm. That's kind of my story.
Very good. So you've got Secretariat in here. We've also got another Derby winner here behind us. You want to go over and talk about Swell a little bit and kind of what he means to the farm? And all of our viewers, if you've got any questions, Bradley's kind of our been there, done that. He can answer any question you've got. We're confident. So be sure to comment with your questions, and we'll make sure Bradley gets to those.
So now we're here with Swell. He won the Kentucky Derby 1984. Again, a homebred here on the farm. We also wanted to talk a little bit, keeping a Derby theme, where we're going to keep what the Derby means to Claiborne. So, you know, I'm standing by one of our homebreds. Of course, he meant the world to us. Our Stallions are responsible for 22 Kentucky Derby winners, so the Derby is huge for us. And there's been 10 horses raised on the farm, born and raised on the farm, that won the Kentucky Derby. So, you know, the modest of sports people know what the Kentucky Derby is. So, you know, it's some sort of a measuring stick to society. You know, what have you done in the horse business? What have you done in Kentucky Derby? So, you know, with our Stallions having 22 winners, 10 of them being born here, and Swell being one of those, it is very special to us. I do have a funny story to share about Swell. I said my father worked here. He was the year that Swell run in the Derby. They took a small group of employees to the Derby, and Dad went. So at that time I was 10 years old. So Mom takes us into town. You know, what's she looking for a 10-year-old and a 6-year-old, two little boys to do on a sunny Saturday? So she takes us into the local video store and Video Land, and we go looking for a movie to watch or something, and they have this drawing for a VHS machine, and so we put our name in. The drawings in 10 minutes. We win the VHS machine, long story short. So Mom buys a couple blank VHS cassettes. We go home, play with it a little bit. Well, we take the Derby, Swell wins. So then hours later, Dad comes home. We're all proud of winning this, this machine. Of course, he's super excited. Swell won the Derby, and he's had a hand in that. And so we put it on. We show him that we take the Derby. Well, Dad sits down in a recliner, and Swell's coming down the stretch, and he gets to whip in the arm of the recliner and breaks the arm of the recliner, and he was there live to see Swell win the Derby. So it's amazing how you get involved you get with these. So we won a VHS machine. We lost a recliner that day. But also, Dad was very excited that he had a part in Swell doing that. It's just at that time, 10-year-olds get hard to process how you could be that excited when you knew what had happened. But now being there, being involved with the likes of Orb, Blaine, Lee, some of our Elate, some of our great horses we've raised here, to see them, their accomplishments on the track, you understand it now.
And speaking of Orb's back in one of our stallion barns. You want to head back that way and visit with him?
Sure.
Talk a little bit about raising him on the farm and kind of what he means to you.
We've had a couple secretariat-related questions come through. Some are wondering if it's true if he's buried whole body.
He is buried there except for his hooves, and they were, had laminitis, so they were donated to research.
Gotcha.
So he's there all except for his hooves.
Bradley, why don't you take us through, a lot goes into your day, and you obviously oversee all the horses here on the farm. Why don't you take us through a day in your life?
Sure. This is the time of year that's very busy, also very exciting for us. My first stop of the day is at 5 a.m. at the foaling barn, and I'll stop in and see the crew and kind of see the foals that we've had during the night, and check in with see if deliveries are kind of uneventful, the mares are doing fine, and how healthy the foals are, and that way I can kind of do. I'll make a few notes and turn into Dr. Bailey and Crystal so they know what they're kind of coming into. If they foal needs a little extra attention, or if everything seems to be normal, that way they can get started for their day. So then I'll come to the office, fill out some paperwork so our ladies can get my foals recorded, and then get all the paperwork we need to circulate through the office for billing, just client information, and then Walker and I will have a discussion on who's going to call the client, who's going to give them the good news about a foal being born, and kind of the plans from there. And then that's my time to kind of sit there and also read the TDN, catch up on that while the foaling barn mares are getting their breakfast and getting ready to go out for the day. And then I'll go back up at 6 o'clock, and then I'll watch all the mares that are currently at the foaling barn go out. Clients are wanting to know how close their mares are they going to foal tonight, or are they a few days away, or what are they looking like, and that way I can stay on top of that and kind of communicate with them on when the mares are getting ready to fall. So from there, after I get that turned out, I'll kind of meet with Dr. Bailey. They'll kind of look over a few foals and make sure they check out fine. And then I'll move on to some of the other barns and make sure, watch some young foals go out, kind of do some confirmation exams on those, make sure that, all of our foals are staying healthy. The legs look good and they're doing what we want them to do. And then after that, it puts us about 7:30, 7:45, and then we have a breeding session down here with our 12 stallions, and we'll get ready for that. I help the guys in the breeding shed take care of we have 3 sessions a day, 8 a.m., 3 p.m., and 7 p.m. So that's 3 times a day that I'm here in the breeding shed.
And you'll also oversee all of our yearlings on the farm throughout the day and kind of coordinate with those managers, correct?
Sure. And after the breeding shed, we kind of get together and we'll look at some problems we may have today through the day, coordinate with vets at clinics with some horses we may have to we communicate with clients. We send out all of our clients a weekly update on all their stock here, so we kind of split those up over 4 or 5 days, and we'll email each of the clients updates on the horses. And then the afternoons are the times we kind of ride through and watch the yearlings go out, or we'll ride through some foals and see that everything's doing fine, and just make sure everything's progressing the way we want it to.
Right. So probably no 2 days the same.
No 2 days the same. Yeah, it's never Groundhog Day here.
No, I imagine not. So I think Kyle, who did one of our virtual tours a few weeks ago up at the Marchmont Cemetery, is going to grab Orb, one of the Kentucky Derby winners, born, raised on the farm, and now back here as a stallion.
Yes, I do.
So Bradley, a lot of our viewers have asked where you live. Do you live on the farm?
I do live on the farm. Yeah.
Okay.
Fortunate enough, when Dad worked here, we lived on the farm as well. So Wesley and I, Wesley's my younger brother. There was a lot of pickup wiffle ball games in a corner of a pasture somewhere, or there were pickup basketball games, because there were some other boys that were raised on the farm. Rode bikes. There's a 2.5 mile inner circle on the farm. When we got a little older, we did have the mopeds. So after hours, it was a 3,000 acre playground.
Yeah.
So it's been a great place to grow up, and then to come and
Now raise your own family.
Raise my own family. I've been married 24 years this May, and to raise 3 daughters here has just been a blessing as well.
So what do you remember? Do you remember anything about Orb as a foal and a yearling here on the farm?
Yeah, Orb was raised at Claiborne 12. He was a nice looking horse. Did we know he was going to win the Derby when he was, born in February? No, we didn't know that. But, he grew up to be a nice athletic looking horse. Lady Liberty was always a beautiful mare, and she threw good looking horses. So you see how pretty he is. But in 2013, he gave us one of the biggest thrills that I've had so far in my racing career. I was here on the farm. It was it's a busy time of year, first Saturday in May. A lot of mares to breed. I think we still had a lot of mares to foal that year. So I stayed on the farm and actually watched an simulcast at Keeneland. But it was one of the biggest thrills to have, that I had been promoted to farm manager. So we had bred Lady Liberty that year, foaled the following year, and to had all hands on since, being a farm manager, seeing him all the way through his career. It was special that day to see him win. And the amount of phone calls and text afterwards from colleagues in the business to congratulations, and that was very exciting.
And that's a good thing to note is, Bradley, you kind of oversee everything on the farm and give everybody the peace of mind that they're able to go and watch their horses at these big races and know that you're back here at the farm kind of taking care of everything and making sure everyone back here is happy and healthy.
Yeah, the Derby does happen during a busy time for us. We still have several mares to foal. Any of them could foal at any time. I would hope it does give the owners and clients peace of mind that while they're out at a big event and enjoying it, that the horses are still getting taken care of.
Orb's known for being a little ornery.
Yeah, he has an attitude.
Someone wants to know how tall Orb is.
He's 16'2".
He sees something over there.
Yeah, he's a handsome guy.
Do you have an all-time favorite horse, Bradley?
I do. My all-time favorite horse would be Pulpit. When I went off to college, I would come back in the summers and I would work for Dad, and I was put at the barn where Pulpit was raised that year, and he was on a nurse mare. And Pulpit he always had the attitude and I don't know, call it charisma or whatever. He always put out an aura that he was somebody. And I got attached to him working with him that summer, and then as I went back to school and as he progressed through his training career and then broke his maiden as a 3-year-old, and they started the Pulpit watching and the daily racing for him. And every move he made was under microscope. That really got me hooked back into it. I was born and raised here, but that kind of got me hooked back into it, to raise him as a baby, help raise him for those few months I was home, and see what he did on the racetrack and how they kind of publicized it. He would be my favorite horse.
Took Pulpit to get you away from your accounting stint.
He did. He did. And my favorite mare would be Praise. Praise is probably the kindest, most laid-back mare I've ever been around. She's just a joy to work with and just a sweetheart. Of course, she's given us Flatter.
Right.
And Flatter's about the same way. He's a cool horse too.
All right. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
Some people were asking about the chain that he was playing with, that not that Kyle was yanking. And is that just playful? Can you talk a little bit about that for Stallions?
It's something. It is like a toy. You know, they look for something to play with. A lot of the young horses will put like a rubber ball or a thing with a handle on it. And they'll kind of jolly ball and they'll kind of throw it around. They're kids. I mean,
Pretty big kids.
Yeah, 10 years old, but they're big kids and they look for something to play with. And biting at the chain, playing it. He's playing with Kyle. You know, it's cat and mouse. They're playing with something.
And someone asked if our Stallions are ridden.
No, once they retire here, they're not. You know, they get plenty of exercise. They get a lot of time. Pasture turnout. They're out a lot. Our horses don't stay up a whole lot. Now, they're up during storms and they're up during the wintertime at night. But you know, they're up right now. We just finished a breeding session, and then they'll go back out after lunch and they're out all night once the storm comes by. So that would be their exercise.
Any other Stallions we want to?
Yeah, let's walk up to the 6-stall barn. We'll see Lee and we'll see Blaine.
Bradley, you've obviously been around the farm for quite a while. Are there any big similarities and conversely any big differences that you notice from how things were done, you know, back when your father was the farm manager versus how things are done now?
There are some. We tend to keep you know, the horse care the same. The biggest thing would be relations with the clients. You know, as I said, we update the clients weekly by email. And then a lot of our teasing records, vet records, all that stuff is on a tablet now. That would, to me, that would be our biggest changes. Or you know, from where Dad was doing it, you know, it was all penciled down and in tablets and in notebooks and stuff. And now it's all on a tablet to where we can sync with the office and everything's computerized, and the billing can come from that. It all used to be all different.
Makes it harder for the dog to chew up the papers.
And the ultrasound changed. Dad was, you know, a lot of it was manual palpation, now ultrasounds, ultrasound everything. Americans and heat to pregnancy checks, it's all on ultrasound now.
Okay. Another good question from one of our viewers. You're obviously responsible for all of the horses on the farm. Is there a good tracking method that you use, or?
Yeah, there is. And when we finish up, we'll go back in there. But it is a good question. There is a tracking method. In our hallway, the main office there, we, you know, when all the foals are on the ground before the yearlings head off to sales or training centers, we could have as many as 450 horses here. So it's a lot of horses to keep track of. So we have a board, 2 boards down the office, and they all have the divisions of the farm, the barn numbers, and each horse has a tag that there's a hook that they all hang on, and it'll show us where you know, where each horse is located, and that helps us keep a map of where horses live. This is Lee. He's another, he's starting out as a term homebred. He's my first samurai of a mare named Greenery. And he's owned by Claiborne Farm and Dale Dussenberger. Lee holds a special place with me. As you know, I'm a family guy, but we just had gotten home, finished up on a Sunday morning, and Sarah and Savannah and Brooke had just gotten home, and the foaling barn crew said Greenery's coming up to foal. So I get ready to head in my car and I asked Brooke, I said, Brooke, do you want to go? And she's like, sure. So Brooke still had her Sunday dress on. We go up there and Brooke got to foal Lee out in the paddock. So Lee's holds a special place to us because Brooke was involved in foaling, and to see him, it's just like pulpit with me. Lee has been big to Brooke because she's done to keep up his racing career and then retires here. So every once in a while she'll ask me, how's Lee doing? What's Lee doing?
Not bad for the first mare she foaled, huh?
No.
One of our viewers asked, what is the biggest challenge in keeping the foals healthy?
Biggest challenge is you know, knowing when to intervene and when to not. You know, sometimes I think we tend to do too much. You know, we try to let them be horses as much as possible. But you know, we have a lot. Our staff is really good. We have good people in key spots that, you know, oversee the horses and get reported to the vet when something doesn't seem right.
Along those same lines, And some people are asking about nutrition and if they get vitamins and what that looks like.
It's all in a mixed feed that we get from Farmers Feed Mill. And different horses are on different things. The young growing horses are on higher protein based feed, mixed feed, sweet feed. And then after the mares are weaned, we go to more of just a basic vitamin and mineral feed to where they're not getting a lot of extra calories when they're out on the summer grass and they don't need all the extra fat.
Kind of tailored to the stage of life that each horse is.
Yes.
in.
And the older horses tend to get a senior feed as well. You know, we talked about Prey, she's older in life, and some of our retired stallions, you know, they get a little extra senior feed because they're getting a little older.
Patricia asked if your daughters want to follow in your footsteps.
Brooke has talked about that. Yeah. Brooke's going to be a senior in college this year, and yeah, I think she'd be interested in that. I'm not sure that's what she's going to do, but yeah, she's talked about it.
Yeah.
Okay, Kyle. We'll get going.
What's your favorite part about your job, Bradley?
The favorite part of my job is this time of year. The first stop in the morning is a foaling barn. You go up there and you walk into that stall and you see that 110, 130 pound foal standing up there bright-eyed and the ears pricked and not knowing what the future could hold. You know, you walked in there and you saw Orb the day he was born, or I was around the farm when Blaine was born, and you didn't know what they were going to go on to do. But every time you walk in the stall, there's hope. What's this horse going to do? So that would be my favorite part. Would be this time of year, going in to see the young horses and their progression from day one till 5 months of age when they're weaned. They're moved to the yearling side, whether they go on to a summer sales or go on to the training centers, just to see them, what their career holds would be the favorite part.
Well, I think we'll see Blaine next, and he's certainly a good example of that. Having been raised on the farm and then giving the farm a pretty big thrill, being the only horse to ever beat Zenyatta, winning the Breeders' Cup Classic, and you got to be there, correct?
I was there, yes. I was lucky enough. Sarah and I were in the box with some of the Hancock family, and it was a very exciting night. We might have been maybe there was only 20 that were excited that night, but we were one of the 20 that were very excited. But one of the biggest thrills again about being in the business was to be there and see him win that night, and just the excitement. It's hard to explain how you get attached to these animals. We spend this time of year, we spend more time with them than we do our families because we're so busy. But you get attached to them; they become a part of you, and to see them, born, progress here for a year, off the training center, through sales, and to resurface on a racetrack, and you see them win at the highest level. It's like seeing one of your kids graduate or be valedictorian, or perform well in a play or a musical, or just to be at the highest achievement. They become your children.
Someone asked earlier just if you could speak to the relationship between the Jannies and the Phipps and the Dilschneiders and the farm and those connections.
A lot of our clients have been with us a long time. They're multi-generation as well. Going back to Orb and producing a Derby winner for the Janny and Phipps family was very special. Long-standing clients of the farm, and then Dale Dilschneider. Great client. All of our clients, we have a good relationship with. They're easy to talk to. They understand the business. Not all phone calls are easy phone calls. So when you have to call and deliver bad news, they are very understanding, and we have the best clients in the industry.
One of our viewers had asked, how do we select the horses that are going to go to sales?
We have clients that are strictly race horses just for the sales. They don't race. And then we have partnerships that the Claiborne solely owned horses will go to the sale, and the horses that were owned with Miss Dilschneider will go to the racetrack. So it's not as much as part of the individual, it's just the client's program.
Preference. What's it been like watching Blaine transition from his career at the track now to a successful career as a stallion?
Been very, very exciting, you know, to see him win the Breeders' Cup Classic in 2010, and then, you know, to get off to a okay start at Stallion, but to really have picked it up the last 2 or 3 years is very, very satisfying. You know, he's got Nadal that's running Saturday in the Arkansas Derby, probably the favorite in his division, and you know, hopefully he can progress on to the Derby later this year. Very exciting. He has 2 nice colts this year. Had a very good year last year, and then Nadal's also out of a pulpit mare, so he's got it from both. He's got Claiborne on both sides. There,
right.
She'll be rooting pretty hard on Saturday.
Also, someone commented that Blaine's birthday is Saturday.
That's a good omen. Yeah.
Elizabeth wants to know if the Stallions wear shoes.
Some do wear shoes as needed. You know, see Blaine's barefoot. Most of our Stallions are barefoot. You know, some of them are a little bit thin-soled, and especially when you get to this wet time where they're out in the wet grass or mud a lot. Get some thin soles, and we have to put some supportive shoes on just to get them to the drier part of the year. But we try to keep them barefoot as much as possible.
A couple of our viewers had asked about any employment opportunities out here at the farm or how they would go about that.
Sure. Yeah, we're always looking for you know, qualified individuals if they're interested in the horse business, that like working with horses or animals. The best way to go about that would just be go online, ClaiburnFarm.com. We have an employment section there, and you can fill out an application online.
Good deal. That's a good question. What's Blaine's personality like?
Blaine's pretty cool. You see, he's playing with the chain just like Orb was, but like as we said, it's a game. He's no problem to be around. We're very lucky with our stallion division. You know, we got a good crew of guys that work with them. They recommend them when they need to be, so they're taught manners. But you know, all of our stallions are very well behaved. That's for the most part the biggest thing you're
right.
going to see out of them is playing with the chain.
Good deal.
All right, Kyle. All right.
Head back towards the office.
Sure.
Elizabeth is curious what the most difficult stallion to work with is, and someone asked earlier the most laid back.
Our most difficult stallion to work with would be Orb. You know, he would be more aggressive than any of the others, and as I said, they're all pretty easy going, but he will bite more than the others. Most laid back stallion. Warfront's laid back. Flatter would probably be the most laid back. He takes after. I said his mom is the kindest mare or horse I've probably been around. She doesn't have a mean bone in her body. She's just a cool horse, and Flatter's a lot like that.
Our viewers asked, at what point are our stallions retired?
We just let Mother Nature tell us that. You know, if they're in good body condition and they're still breeding and they're healthy, and you know, there's nothing that says that they shouldn't. We'll let them keep going.
Do you have any of your own horses here on the farm, Bradley?
I do. I'm lucky enough that they allow me to keep a few mares here, and gives you something to do something on the side, and you know, have a couple mares of your own and be able to sell a yearling or so each summer is an added perk.
Let's see. Sheila asked if the horses on the farm, specifically the stallions, have the same handlers.
They do. You know, we have 6 guys that work down here, and they're assigned for the most part 3, and then they have a guy that kind of rotates through and helps them guys days off. But it pretty much will be the same guy handling each day.
And you mentioned your brother Wesley is the broodmare manager here on the farm. What's it like working with a sibling day in and day out?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Wes and I have a great relationship. You know,
typical boys when we were growing up, picking and prodded each other, and just having, you know, to be, as I said, going back to coming in the office here, or being raised here, different times. And for us to be farm manager and breeder manager here is very special.
Sorry guys, we are a working farm, so there's some of our factors. Head into our office now, and Bradley's going to show, for those of you who asked about how we keep track of all of these horses here on the farm, we have a pretty cool system that we can kind of explain to you.
Debbie asked what a real in-person tour involves.
Real in-person tour. Well, the in-person tour starts at the visitor center, and then they'll gather from there, and they'll come through, and they get to visit. You know, they go through the breeding shed, they see the breeding facility, they get to visit with some of the horses we just saw, and some of the others that they may request to see. And then at the end, they go through the cemetery, and they'll kind of where we started at. You know, they'll see the grave of Secretariat, Swell, and a lot of the others that are buried in the main cemetery. It takes about 45 minutes, a walking tour, and it's very, very enjoyable.
And then our new shuttle tour.
New shuttle tours where you get to go on the back of the farm. We're kind of offering those different times of year, different routes, but you get to go through, and in the fall you'll see a lot of mares that are turned out. And then during the sales prep, we go through and you see the starting gate where we used to break horses, and then a couple of sale barns where the crew is working on summer sale horses.
Good deal.
We're seeing some of the things that change and not change over the years. Well, this is something that hasn't changed. And this is how we keep up with, you know, I said we could have as many as 450 horses on the farm at one time, and all the foals are on the ground, the yearlings are still here. You can see all the names on the board. This is our broodmare board, our divisions, Marchmont and Claiborne. They all have their numbers, and then all the mares' names are on there, and that helps us keep track of where everybody is.
And are the Stallions included on here as well?
Stallions have a board right down here. But everything's in the computer as well. Now we have a client that's coming for company. You know, I'll give Terry to say, hey, client's going to be here at 9 o'clock on Monday. Can you generate a list for me? Well, she'll generate out of the computer, and then she comes to this board just to double check and make sure that we have all, so that way, you know, if there's 20 horses to look at, we all have them at the right barns. And she says it's a double check point for her. The left side's the yearlings, Claiborne, Cherry Valley, Marchmont division, and then the barns there. And that, you'll notice on these cards, they have the sire, the dam, the sex, and the birth date.
So every tag is a horse. We've got
Every
a couple
tag
of them.
is a horse that is actively on the farm.
Good deal.
And you can see the stallions down here.
Some of our favorites.
And then one of our kind of measuring sticks on the farm are greatest stakes winners of 250,000 or more. So you get your name on the stall door of, you know, where the yearling was raised, if that horse went on to win a grade stake, and over 250,000. So you'll see some here. We sold Raceland years ago, but these were the names that were on the doors at Raceland. And
Yeah.
the current horses that you know, that are on the yearling division right now, those names are on the doors here. But those are the ones that were at Raceland.
And some of the doors here on the farm, I know we've featured on social media. So if you scroll back through some of that, you can see some of the doors here on the farm that have those same names.
We had a viewer ask earlier how parading was doing.
He's done good, yeah. You know, he's retired. He's at the Marchmont Stallion barn. He was retired for no other reason that, you know, there wasn't much interest for anybody to breed to him. So, you know, he's turned out up there and living the great life.
Living the dream.
As you come around the corner here, I don't know if anybody, if we've seen this. This is kind of our wall of fame here, and these are our champions, and it's their baby pictures.
You would have been here for a lot of these.
Down on this end, yes.
Well, Bradley, a lot certainly goes into your day, and it's as busy as ever, especially this time of year. So thank you very much for taking part of your, or some time out of your day to do a Q&A with us. We really appreciate it. We hope that you all have enjoyed this. Any parting remarks, Bradley?
No, thank everybody for tuning in. Everybody hanging there tough. We'll get through this, and I know different times right now, but we'll have a good week. Arkansas Derby this week, and we'll see the Derby in September.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see you all back here at the farm in the coming months.
All right.
All right, thanks so
Thank
much.
you.